Today is a very exciting day, and let me tell you why. So within this box, we have one of the most exciting modifications that I've done that I've wanted to do literally forever. And it is, lo and behold, it is a rear brake light. So let me just unpackage this from the box real quick. In this video, we're going to do an install of this JXR rear brake light. This is the F1 rear fog light, and this is from JXR Performance. This thing can be had at a very affordable price, and in this video, we're going to do an unboxing like we're doing right now because I'm super excited about it, and I wanted to show it to you guys as it came in. Comes with hardware, and we'll take this off right now, even though we're going to have to put it back on so you guys can see what this thing looks like. Yes, it looks clean, very, very clean, but we're going to leave this protective film on for installation because we don't want to damage this lens while we're installing it. I couldn't be more excited about installing this on the car, so we're going to go down to the garage and get this thing installed, and I will show you guys exactly how to do it. We'll also show you guys exactly what this looks like after the fact, so let's get into this video and let's get this thing installed on my 2016 Subaru WRX. First step here is we're actually going to prep the stuff in the trunk so that when we get under the car, it's all one swoop, and I'm going to take a few more things than I need to out of here. So I'm going to start, and this is completely optional, but it'll make things a little bit cleaner. I'm going to start by removing my trunk liner just so it's easier to see what's going on. And that just gave us a little bit more working room so you guys can see what's going on and so it's easier for me to install this brake light. The next step is for me to remove this liner, this piece of plastic right here, and there's just a few clips on the other side. If we actually look down at this piece, there's a clip here, there's a clip here, and there's a clip over here. So 3 clips, we're going to take those out. After those 3 clips are out, this piece is just going to come straight off. It's really easy to take off. No pain, put this aside. Now that this piece has been removed, we are going to pull out the passenger side liner just far enough so we can have access to the taillight. I'm not going to completely remove this, but there are a few clips here. We've got a clip above, we've got a clip down here, we've got a clip up here, a clip there, and 2 back here if you want to access them. We're going to take them all out and pull this thing out as much as we can, and we're going to take care to not crease this as we do this. We've now pulled the fender liner back just far enough so we haven't creased it, and you guys can see the full opening here. Right there is the taillight where you access power and actually plug it in. That's what we're going to tap into. You guys can see that it's nothing scary over here. This will be pretty simple and easy to do. Fully prepared, working up in the trunk. We're ready basically to accept wires. We got one last thing to do. We're going to quickly remove the plug that essentially is going to be where we feed our wires from the bottom up to the top here. And now we're going to get under the car and actually get the fog light installed. Last thing that we have to do is if you lean over the side of your trunk and look down to where the clips were, you have this little grommet right here. And to remove this grommet, all we're going to do, and we're going to recover it on the inside, we're just going to push it through like that. Underneath the car, you can see the exhaust tips right there. We got 1 clip here, 1 clip here, 1 clip above me, and then 1 clip directly above me. Let's go ahead and remove these clips. Now that we've removed the clips like so, we're going to just pull this back, and this is going to be tight, and if you're like me underneath the car, not on a lift, you may have just been showered by some rocks. But this is our backing right there, and you can see the 2 little clips right here that we are going to push in. I'm going to push both of those in, and then I will be able to push that through. It ended up coming out a little bit more explosively. That ended up coming out a little bit more explosively than I had hoped. I put a little too much pressure, but essentially, this is the backing of it. Essentially, what you're going to have to do is you've got this clip and this clip. You're just going to push them up and then push it out, and it should pop out probably with a little less force than it just happened for me, but this is the plastic backing. I'm going to leave the plastic on here. If you want to be extra careful during installation, you can put masking or painter's tape on here. You don't have to be super careful around the edges because this is going to sit flush inside, so anything that you scuff around the edges, you should be fine, but if you want to be extra careful, put tape on it. You are going to have to remove the bracket that comes installed when this thing is delivered. And I've just taken the wiring, and I've taken some plain old from Walmart, from Home Depot, electrical tape, and I've wrapped the wires up to the end. So basically what we had to do, and I kind of just did it all in one because it really took only 30 seconds, but we pushed the F1 light and then we put the bracket over like so. You can see the bracket supports are on the support of the plastic. And then we installed our screws. You can see both screws. Really easy to do. And then one pop clip on this side and one pop clip on the other side. Things like rock solid. It's not moving anywhere. So screw, screw, pop clip on the other side. These mount here. Sides go over the plastic, like you can see. And this thing is like rock solid in. So the last thing to do is to take our wire, which is here, and look up there. And right up there is our hole back into the trunk from the grommet that we cut out. So let's meet back up here. Before I go, I'm just gonna put my pop clips back in, my 4 pop clips, and then we're all done down here. Next step is we're gonna take these little, the little cover that we took out, the grommet cover, and we're actually gonna drill a hole to feed the wires through the middle here. We can just do this offhand. We're just gonna take a drill. Just be very careful with your finger. And bang, we're through. Let's just take her out. Now we've made a little bit of a hole there, and we're just going to feed our wires individually through so that we can pull the lot through after. And these wires are pre-cut here, so we can just rip the insulation off, but we're not going to do that yet. We're individually feeding through here. And once we're through, we wanted to make this as tight as possible. Once we're through, we're going to just start pulling our wire through. And then we're going to reinstall this thing. I will show you what it looks like in just a second here. And you can see that it's been reinstalled. This is our taped wire coming through the grommet. I've made it super tight. You don't even need to use silicone if you don't want to. This is so tight. It was hard to pull through. I could silicone that just in case. I think I'm all right here, but if you've got a bigger hole, I would recommend using some silicone or some sealant around this so that we can have a watertight car. Next step here is going to be to remove our brake wire. I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver just to compress the tab, and we're out. All right, so as you can see, I have this thing wired up. There's an extra couple T-taps here. Disregard these. I was testing something out, but we're just going to T-tap into each of these wires. I'll post it up on the screen right now what you need to T-tap into. But don't worry, guys. I know it looks like I skipped a bunch of steps. We're actually going to head up into the office, and I'm going to show you on some fresh wires everything you need to know about connecting, T-tapping, and everything you need to do here so that you know exactly what you're doing. This is like the easiest thing ever, so don't fret. This is super easy, but we're basically all done here. I'm going to show you just in a second how to get these wires exposed. I just took a razor blade to this and stripped down some of the insulation so I could have exposed wires, and then I T-tapped. You could cover these T-taps or heat shrink them, but they're pretty sturdy, and I like to keep them exposed in case I ever have to get back into here. Let's just take a break for a second before we finish this install and put everything back together, and I'll show you guys how to actually tap these. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a quick 2-minute lesson here on how to crimp and tap wires so you guys can do this easily. So here's a crimping tool, super easy, super cheap, linked in the description below. Great thing to have, super cheap. Basically, you crimp it and you squeeze all the way in, and then it releases for the next crimp, and you'll need a set of needle nose pliers for this. You're going to use your wire that's provided on the F1 light. I've got some extra 12 gauge here, which is harder to use in general because it's thicker wire, but it's a great wire to show you guys so you guys can see. And then we have our connectors. These are our T-taps, and these are the connectors that go into the T-taps. So I'm going to show you guys how to tap the wire and then crimp this on the ends and then connect it to your T-taps. Okay, so if you're using the kit, you're going to have an end of the wire with a pre-cut section. You can actually just remove that section and the wire will already be stripped. The insulation will be already removed, but if you need to remove it anymore, you can do this with a tool like this, or you can do this with needle nose pliers. But you're just going to grab it right below the insulation. You're going to push down just a little bit so you break the insulation, and then you're just going to pull, and it strips the wire like so. So now we have a section of exposed wire. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take the wire itself, and I'm going to twist it a little bit so I can bind all the copper wires inside so it's a solid connection. And then I'm going to take my needle nose pliers, and I'm going to grab it to a third of the way up, and I'm going to turn it like a hook. And once I've hooked it, I'm just going to bend it in with my finger, and then if you really want to, you can take your needle nose and just clamp it down a little bit. And I'm just giving myself a thicker section of wire here to be able to work with. You're going to look down into the connector and make sure that your wire itself is within the area, the section that's getting crimped. So you've got that. Then you take your tool. It's color-coded. Super easy. Put it in the section of the color coding, like so. And then you just squeeze until it's connected, and then we're done, and it's crimped. Now, you want to be safe, Give it a bit of a tug. It shouldn't move. It's crimped on there. It's not moving. Done. We've now crimped the connector on. That was the hardest part. Tapping it is even easier. Actually cut the wire so you can see a clean piece of wire. We're just going to cut it with our needle nose pliers. So we've got a clean piece of wire. This is going to be the wire of your brake light when you're actually installing this kit. T-taps are super easy. All you're going to do is place the wire inside the little tooth. You're going to close the tooth like so. You're going to hold it pinched closed like this. You're going to take your needle nose pliers. You're going to grab it with your needle nose pliers like so. And then you're just going to go like this. And you've T-tapped. It's that easy, guys. And then you take your connector that's crimped and your T-tap and you connect them. And you're done. And guys, I'm telling you, T-tapping and connecting with a crimp style connector is the easiest thing you can do. I kid you not, it is not worth buying a plug-and-play kit because this is the easiest thing ever. I actually bought a plug-and-play kit because I was going to show you guys just how to use it, but then I realized why spend an extra $19 or $20 because this is so easy to do. It is so simple. And guys, you can get all the tools you need for this process, learn how to use them for still cheaper than a plug-and-play kit, and you're going to use this for the rest of your life, and it's going to be a great tool if you ever have any projects in your car or you ever need to diagnose or do anything. So highly recommend these tools. Super easy process. Let's get back to the video. That's essentially it for the install. Well, we've got to put everything back together, but we're just going to leave this wire kind of exposed. You could tape it to the side if you want, but it's not like it's going to make any noise. So I'm just going to keep it pushed up against here. And yeah, that's basically it. So we're going to push our heading back in here and let's get this back all together. There we have it, guys. Everything's put back together. The liners are back in. All the pins are back in. Takes a few minutes to do that, but it's looking pretty good. I do need to vacuum this. There's the F1 light. We're going to clean this thing up, give it a little wash. It got a little dusty, and then let's give it a test and do some beauty shots, and I'll show you guys what this thing's all about.